So the culminating project of this banking unit is going to be a bit of a research project for you. I originally planned this project for you to actually go to a bank and to actually speak to someone and to see very specifically in that bank where some of the things we've been talking about in class, how do they show up at that bank? So we've talked about different types of accounts. We've talked about interest rates on accounts. We've talked about all sorts of other features of accounts. Well, we've talked about them in theory. I wanted you to go and find some of that information for real. In today's environment right now, I'm not going to ask you to go to a bank. A lot of banks right now are closed or only open by appointment. So we're going to do a lot of this project online. We're going to do some research on the bank's website. I'd like you to maybe take this opportunity to learn, if you already have a bank account, to either learn a little bit about some of the bank you already bank at, or if you don't have a bank account, perhaps this would be an opportunity for you to research a real bank that you can go and then eventually at some point open up your bank account and start your banking career, your banking life. So I maybe would encourage you to take this opportunity for real, and not only for the project, but also for yourself, to be able to maybe walk away from this class saying that I have a bank account. So what I would like you to do, this is obviously posted on Classroom, but what I'd like you to do is go to find a bank in your neighborhood, either the bank you currently or your family currently banks at, or a bank you could bank at if you were to choose to open up an account. And I'd like you to do some research on their website to try to find information about the bank and what they offer for their customers. So first, really, what are the different types of accounts that are offered? I would probably focus on the ones that maybe we've talked about in class, with between checking and savings and CDs and money market accounts. There are going to be some of the varieties in here. Some of the different banks offer different types of checking accounts and savings or whatever. I'd like you to investigate what your options are. And then for each one of those types of accounts, to be able to try to find out a little bit about what are the features, what are the requirements, what's expected of you. So a lot of the stuff that's listed here for each account, or for each type of account, I'd like you to be able to list out this information and go to find it and maybe collect it together. Third, I'd like you to maybe focus a little bit on, do they offer types of accounts for students? Do they very specifically have features that are available for students, which all of you are, and definitely really between the ages of about 17 and 23, you qualify for these. So you might actually be able to get some really good benefits to start by opening up a student version of some of these things. I'd like you to maybe see if they have anything about that. And then finally, is there anything else that you look at the bank and say, all right, this would be an important thing that I would be looking for? So what would we want to know about your bank? What I'd like you to do is to take and look through your bank's website and find some of this information and put it together in a Google slide presentation. Really just a great way to summarize and to organize that information. So here's an example of what I did. So I went to one of the banks. There's a bank right up the block from St. Edmund, right on the corner of you and Ocean. That's Investors Bank. It's changed hands a couple of times, but now it's an Investors Bank. So I went to their website. I suppose if I look at the branch locations, right, so right now in Brooklyn, 11229, here is the Ocean Avenue location. This is right up the block from St. Edmund Prep, right on the corner. Right, so I went to look to see kind of where they are. There's St. Edmund right there. And then here's where the bank is. So maybe this is the bank that I would look at. You don't have to look at this. I encourage you to look at other banks other than this one, maybe one that you bank at or one that you would go to. Right? And then I would poke around in their website. And so I'm looking in the personal banking section, and here are the different types of accounts they offer between checking, savings, money market, CDs, right? And then if you look in here, you'll be able to find, right? So this is on the checking section. Here are some of the different types of checking accounts that they offer, some of the very basic features. But then if you click in to learn more, I can learn a little bit more about the very specifics of your style checking. And in fact, they even have a compare option here where you can actually look at the different types of accounts and see what features they have. I'd like you to try to take whatever bank you're going to bank at and be able to find this information. If you poke around hard enough on their website, you will totally find this information. And I'd like you to try to condense it a little bit into a slide presentation. So here's one that I've been playing with. So here I kind of showed you where the bank is located, and then we're starting to now organize the information. So here they have two major types of checking accounts, and then here's some of the things I like to maybe know about that. And here are the different types of savings accounts, and I think you get the idea. I would like you to try to organize this information in some logical way, okay, so that it looks presentable. Imagine that you are doing some research and you want to pass this information along to a friend or a family member, and you want to put together a really quick guide on what they can expect and what their different options are at that bank. Okay. The one thing I'm going to ask is that you please just don't go to the bank's website and just copy a whole bunch of stuff and paste it in. Take the time to synthesize a little bit, to summarize it, to go through some of the stuff that maybe isn't totally important to us, but to focus on some of the things we discussed in class or important items. Maybe you don't need to write all of this nonsense down, but to be able to pull out the really important things that would make a difference to us. Okay, so I'm going to strongly ask you, please don't just go to start websites and copying and pasting things. I want you to take a moment to try to understand it and then synthesize it into some way. Okay, so if I were to continue with this, I would continue looking at their CD accounts and their money market accounts, and then try to put some of that information here into the project. So, all right. This project is going to be, quote, the test for this unit. So I want you to demonstrate that you know some of the information and the vocabulary. We're not, just because of the nature of where we are right now with distance learning, I'm not going to give you a multiple choice fill in the blank test, but this will be the major project that will count towards that. This project is going to count towards your third quarter grade, and you can please check Classroom for the due date for this. But this will be due relatively soon, as we are going to end the third quarter this week. Okay, more details, I will post this template kind of, or this sample, plus the description of the project onto Classroom. And obviously, if you have any questions while you're doing it, feel free to reach out to me, either via private comment or email.